Michael. What's your question for Premier Eby?
As a landlord, we're restricted every year, between 2 and 3% to raise the rent. Property taxes keep increasing. Interest rates, mortgage interest rates are anywhere between 5 and 7%. We can't raise the rent to keep up with all the other costs, yet you believe the tenant shouldn't be subject to those increases that everybody else has to pay.
We think renters need predictability around rents, and the rental increases are tied to inflation. There was a brief period when we separated from that during the rampant inflation we saw just coming out of the pandemic. But we're back to it being inflation. And also, we've got programs to encourage people to become landlords by providing a grant to them so they can create a suite and rent it out. It is important work providing that housing. I'm glad that you do it. And also, we're trying to find a balance. A lot of people are squeezed with affordability who are renting.
The reason that rents are so outrageously unaffordable in British Columbia is because landlords are allowed to increase rents between tenants. So when someone moves out to whatever they want. Now, you can't do anything about the fact that they're outrageously high now, but you can prevent these terrible increases by changing the law so that landlords are not allowed to increase rents between tenants.
The jurisdictions that have put in rent control by units, where they have had that as a policy for rental housing, have seen a collapse in the construction of new rental housing. And unfortunately, or fortunately, or what, I don't know what, but the reality is in British Columbia, we can't afford that. When you're adding 180,000 people a year, we have to massively build housing of all kinds, including and perhaps especially rental housing. And government can't do it all alone. We do need private sector rental housing to be built as well. And they've been very clear with us, and the evidence is shown in other jurisdictions that when rent control by unit is put in, it stops the construction of rental housing, which we just can't have in our province right now.
We were just brainstorming, and we thought, let's look up what the cost of a cruise ship might be for sale. And we found one that they were asking $33 million, but it has room for 2,800 guests. I don't think it would be out of the question on coastal communities to use something like that.
So it is something that can and is working for some types of housing in the province. One of the for homeless populations, one of the outside of the box approaches that has been successful that we've seen, for example, in Duncan, are tiny homes where people have their own unit. They're not in a larger building with other neighbors that might have significant challenges, just a small group of homes together. And it's something that when we initially formed government, BC Housing it was not part of their agenda. And we've come a long way because it has shown that kind of success as people have their own units, they're able to move from those into permanent housing once they stabilize. And so, Steve, you other people, if you have creative suggestions around housing, we're always listening and looking for those opportunities.